when I began to look at my organizational chart, the very first thing that I want to start getting out of is the lower level of all of the working. I want to begin to push up into management and then push up further into leadership, up into these levels. Once you get pushed up into these levels, now it's actually possible for you to leave the company and go do some other things while the company functions without you, because you have your mid-managers and workers in place. It's very important. If you're wanting to own multiple different companies, you have got to get yourself out of the lower levels and get yourself into leadership. Okay? Also, another thing, if you have the 4-box model, okay, where one name is in a box, and if you are one of those names, all of a sudden Bob's looking at that organizational chart and he's going, there's no place for me to go in this company. There's no growth path. If I want to go somewhere, Clay's going to have to die. Clay's going to have to quit, because the only box to go in is the box that Clay is in. So there's no path to a future. There's no incentive. But with something like this, all of a sudden you can begin to see growth paths all over the place. You can bring in workers and say, hey, if you want to move up in our company, we have paths for you to move. We have ways for you to go from worker up in admin. And then if you really enjoy marketing, we can bring you over here in this area and move up that direction. But without a clear map like this, it can just be very difficult. People are really not for sure what they're doing. They're not for sure what they're accountable for. Now again, it is possible, as I've said, for a certain name to be in multiple boxes, but you never want to have 2 or more names in one box. You never want to delegate something to a group. You're always delegating to one person. So when it comes to marketing, I want to have one person that I'm coming to when it comes to my website, that this person is the one doing the website. If I have 5 people doing the website, I need to have a lead over the website, and that's the person that I go to hold accountable. Because if you delegate to a group, it's just too easy to point the finger. Well, I thought you were going to do that. No, I told you to do that. Oh, so you meant me and not them. I thought that was going to be a group thing. I was there, but they didn't show up. It just gets too cloudy, and it's just very difficult to manage. But if one person is in each box, you can go to that box and say, I need the production I ask of you. And there's no place for them to run. You guys, this will save your life. It's a wonderful tool called the organizational chart, the accountability chart, the responsibility chart. One thing I want to finish with is, over here you can see that I have written each of these levels with names over here, or kind of the levels of responsibility. What I want to go into is just really quickly show you what goes on at each level, okay? Workers, obviously, they do the work. Very good. The workers are the ones doing the work. Every single day, they're tink, 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 mining. They're doing the job. They're doing the work. They're making things happen. The company has to have these people. If you don't have these people, you're screwed, okay? You've got to have the workers. But as we move up to the leads, these are really like influencers, is what I call these folks. They have influence over the workers. They have become trainers or team builders. They have built relationships with other workers and are bringing them along. They say, hey guys, let's do this. And the workers go, okay, we'll do that with you. Remember talking about that? So these are the influencers here. And then as we get to the mid-managers, this is really interesting here. The mid-managers are what I call the firemen or firewomen. They're putting fires out all day, okay? Workers, when they come to work, they start fires. Just by the nature of coming to work, they start fires. Being a school teacher for 15 years, I used to love teacher days. School was awesome if the kids weren't there. you know? But when the kids showed up, you had to work. And when you had to work, when the kids would show up, they'd have questions, they'd create problems, they'd create issues that a teacher would have to deal with all day long. So your mid-managers here at this level, they are responsible once the work day begins. They are responsible for putting out fires. When it comes to the sales team is going, hey, I can't find this thing. Do you know where it is? Yes, I'm the mid-manager. I know where it is. It's over there. Hey, we need this. Can someone go get that? Can somebody create this? Hey, this is broken. Hey, where can I find this? Hey, what's going on? Jim isn't here. What are we going to do? Oh my gosh, we just had a phone call from a client, from a person. They need this. The mid-manager is the one that spends the lion's share of their day, 80 to 90% of their day, putting out fires. They have direct connection to the workforce. They have their finger on the pulse of the workforce. They know who's in a good mood, who's not in a good mood. They know all of the emotions. They have their finger on the pulse of all of the workers. They are also connected to the emotions that are going on down here in the workforce. That's the job of the mid-manager. And then as we come up to our VP and our CEO, these guys are more of in a leader position. So they are more of vision, mission. That's what's going on up here. A lot of times with the mid-manager, they are the ones that design systems. They're the ones that see the problems. They've had meetings with their mid-managers, and the mid-manager going, hey, we have this consistent problem that's coming up over and over and over, and so we probably need to put together a system. Well, the senior management level are the ones that have the time to design the systems that the mid-managers will implement for the workers to do. It's kind of how that works. So if we have each of these levels functioning properly, then what happens is the CEO is able to keep the business on course. These guys up here are able to look out 9 months to 3 years. They're able to see out there. This mid-manager, they're looking at this week. They're about 1 week out. Workers and influencers down here, they are looking at today. What needs to be done right now? Okay, is this making sense? So, the reason why I've said that is because if you're like me and you find yourself at multiple levels, vertical levels of your company, chances are very good because you are successful, because people like your product or they like your service, you are going to generate a lot of work. And if you don't delegate, set up systems to delegate that work, you're going to have to come all the way from here to there. And chances are pretty good that you're going to have to be doing this as well, and a little bit of this, and a little bit of this. And if you're like many of my clients, we get together each week and I say, hey, did you do your homework? Oh, Clay, we've been so busy. I just wasn't able to get to it. Okay, that makes sense. You are working in your business. You have come out of leadership this last week and you have spent your time working in your business, either down here, producing things specifically for customers or clients or patients, or you have been caught up in putting out fires. Okay? Does that make sense? So what we need to do is over time begin to set up systems so that you can move out of those boxes. Again, the goal here, I don't think the goal here is for, if there's 56 boxes, you hire 56 people. That's not the answer, okay? That's not the answer. But the big question for you as the business owner is, and as the manager, which boxes do you want to be in? As a manager, if you blow this thing out, now you can see who's going to be responsible for what. You guys, this is a huge, important tool for you to have as an organization. It helps you. It helps you make decisions quickly, rather than sit there and going, well, I'd like for Bob to be able to do that, but I think he's already too tied up. So I think we need to talk to Jeanette. But man, Jeanette's already kind of really tired. I know she's got some things going on at home, but Man, she's really the only one that has the time. And so it's this emotional, mental, we need to have meetings and all this kind of stuff. And it just gets in the way, as opposed to being able to blow the organizational chart out like this. Again, the idea is as you go vertically, it's completely different mindsets. The way you are looking at production, the way you're looking at how to get things done. As you come horizontal, this is where we're probably looking more at actually changing hats, changing responsibilities in each of these areas. Catch this too. You've probably already seen this. So guys, this person right here, completely different personality than this person over here. But if you don't blow the organizational chart out like this, it happens all the time, where the person that's in charge of the money is also the person in charge of sales and marketing. So they constantly feel this tension inside of their head. Oh my gosh, we need to do some advertising, we need to do some marketing, but we don't have the money, but we need to do it, but we don't have the money. And so they're just kind of tug-of-warring back and forth, and it's just incredibly draining. So hopefully you're able to see the freedom that this organizational chart can bring you, okay? As I began to look at my organizational chart, the very first thing that I wanted to do was begin to get out of this worker level. You've heard me say this before, but as entrepreneurs, as we move into the startup mode, man, you're doing everything. You're in every single box because you can't afford to bring anybody else in. But after about 5 years, you need to be starting to put together checklists and systems and processes so that you can move out of doing the actual plumbing, all right, going to the houses and cleaning out the toilets and plunging the toilets, begin to becoming more of a mid-manager. So you have put together systems on how to do this specific work. And then from there, you can begin to put together systems on how to do the mid-manager job. So you can move to the next level and begin to work yourself up into leadership in your company rather than more of the workership in your company. Okay, so hopefully this is helpful for you. Again, this is the organizational chart. As a manager, this is key for you to be able to look at your organization and all of the people that are involved through the lens. It's almost like the Matrix, being able to look through the lens of your organizational chart. And now you can begin to put names in the boxes. And in this next session, we're going to be talking about session number 5. I'm going to spend a little bit of time on how do we begin to evaluate people at each of these levels. Once we put names in, how do we know if people are in the right box? What do we do if people aren't in the right box? What do we do with them? If we're going out there and recruiting and hiring, how do we know who we need to hire? And how do we go about finding those people? This is all coming up in our next session where we're talking about the actual how to use your organizational chart. But again, this is winning in the workplace, management session number 4. Guys, I hope this has been very helpful for you on the organizational chart. Look forward to seeing you in session 5